Conversations with Kenni.
This podcast is sponsored by Visibility Solutions Media.
Hi guys, welcome to yet another edition of Conversations with Kenni. I'm very excited about today's edition, but I want to drop a quote because of my guests. Someone said that the purpose of life is to have a life of purpose, and on today's edition, I have an amazing young Nigerian called Mr. Purpose. I've known him for maybe over 2 decades, and he'll be my guest on today's show. He is Noah Afeoluwape. Mr. Purpose is a purpose coach, leadership trainer, author, and youth mentor, impacting thousands of lives through Purpose Discovery Academy. And today's show, we'll be discussing the soft life trap, a young Nigerians escaping work or escaping purpose. Welcome to the show.
Thank you
Mr.
so
Purpose.
much. Thank you so much. It's nice being here.
Yeah, thank you for coming. I met you. Okay, you were the one who even reminded me.
Yes.
I met you on filming your dad's New Dawn.
New Dawn on 10.
On 10 as you know, those days you were part of the audience.
Yes.
Were you, okay, I don't know if I should ask, what did you go to do there, but were you that focused at that time?
Oh, yes, I was. I was already very clear on the path that my life would take. I was just going through school for, like they say, to just finish that phase. In fact, I wanted to drop out in year 3 because of what I had discovered. I was so on fire. In fact, I felt the school system of Nigeria was so slow. And in fact, it was, because we were plagued with strikes. Lecturers will deliberately not come to class. So I wanted to just drop out of school in year 3. I was studying highly successful people. Bill Gates was one of them. I read that he dropped out of Harvard, and I was like, what am I doing in this? I didn't want to mention any of the school. If Bill Gates could drop out of Harvard, then because I found the truth about what real success in life is. And I was very convinced about it. So I came to that studio because New Dawn on 10, the woman was interviewing some very, very notable names.
Yeah.
And I believe if you can't find the right thing in the wrong place. If you're going to
find the right thing in the wrong place.
Yes. If you're going to evolve fast, you have to get off from your comfort zone. Young people these days are very lazy because of the advent of technology, which is supposed to be an advantage. But there are some people you will never meet online. You can't meet. I met one of the men that helped me turn my talent of public speaking into skill and understand the business side of it at that New Dawn on 10 show. So I had to get up and pursue my own greatness by being in the right rooms early in life. So there are some people you can't meet online. Even if you meet them online, the impact can never be the same. So that's what this generation must quickly align. Use technology for what technology was meant for, and also still seek those physical platforms.
And the point you made about you can't get the right thing at the wrong place, so powerful, because part of what made me attend was also because of those successful people she usually interviewed, the likes of. In fact, I was so drawn to Mr. Obongesen then. I wanted to become a speaker. So I was always, not missing his sessions on the show. When he started publishing Achievers Manual, I would buy. I would even go to, I was not even in the university then, I would go to Unilag to attend his Achievers Conference and all that. So that thing you mentioned about young people, people being, you can't get the wrong thing in the right place is so profound. But at that age, were you not confused about, because you were so clear about attending shows like that? Were you not maybe even a bit discouraged about, pursuing, having that sense of purpose at such an early age?
Okay, so as a purpose coach today, I teach a principle about early discovery. Because there are 3 seasons of life. There are just 3 seasons. No matter which country you are based, whether it's Alaska, Madagascar, America, wherever you are, there's the morning season, and it's the acronym MAN, M-A-N. Morning season, it spans for about 21 years.
0 to 21.
Yes, 0, biologically speaking. 0 to 20. So God designed that season for the discovery of your purpose, discovery of your talent, and the development of your dominant gifts. But what awakens that consciousness in you as a human being is when you discover God's purpose for your life. If you discover it in that season, it will awaken this, and then you begin to now seek places, people, and practices that will help you develop your latent talent to skill. And there's also a law of mastery that it takes 10,000 hours to convert a raw ability into skill. So I wasn't fully aware of all of what I just said now, but I was just hungry to know. I was hungry to connect. I wasn't satisfied with the background where, the things my parents had been able to achieve. And I didn't believe I was poor anymore from the day I discovered purpose. My parents are people you would call an average family.
Yeah.
We didn't have a color TV in the home. We had a black and white, But immediately I discovered myself. I just knew I was enriched by God to enrich my generation. So that concept of poor didn't exist within the framework of my person. So what was I doing there that day? I was seeking an opportunity to connect with people. In fact, I told the person that told me about the show that I'm supposed to be the guest speaker.
Ooh, wow.
I was that cocky.
On fire.
In fact, she told me, Noah, just get off my phone. If you're going to go. I said, do you know that Fumi Yoda is supposed to be interviewing me? That the things I'm already teaching, because I had already started teaching teenagers, even as a teenager myself. So, but I went to be in the right place, be in the right room, and I was hoping that maybe she would notice. So in fact, when I was in that audience, I wore my branded jacket, not this one. I wore a branded jacket. I had my coats, my own coats, at the back. Anywhere Noah goes, solution flows.
Oh, I remember.
That's what I wore. That's what I wore. So I had a concept on how to find your unique career path. So when I was there, I was just looking for an opportunity to when it would be time for the people in the audience to talk. And there was something I said. I remember the guest on the show, he took note of me, and I ran to him after the show that, sir, I would like you to mentor me. Because I saw his flyer 3 days prior to that show. I didn't know he was going to be on New Dawn on 10. I just saw the flyer and I said a prayer to God. I said, Lord, I would like to meet this man. The next day I got a call from one of my friends. We were friends in school. You see, purpose also helps you choose your association early. So we had this group of 5 purpose-driven young undergraduates. We'll meet 4 times a year. At the beginning of the year, we'll set our goals. Academic goals, spiritual goals, financial goals, because we're also entrepreneurial. And then we review it every quarter. So it was from that, I'll call them purpose bunch, friendship, those 5. It was one of them, a lady, that told me about this New Dawn on 10 show. I didn't hear about it. That's why I said, if you move with the wrong crowd, wrong things will also happen to you. So I was in that room that day just by that information. But I had a choice because I was a bit cocky at that time too.
That's what I noticed about you on that day. I was saying to myself, who be this confident? Who be this confident guy? So let me just ask this question before the statement you wanted to make about being cocky. Have you always been this self-assured?
No, I was very shy before this discovery happened. In fact, the switch was so obvious because if I'm in a room, you will not even know I'm there. I want to be unnoticed. I want to be at the back. I just want to tiptoe in and tiptoe out before the year 2000. And a major shift also happened when I got born again, genuinely saved, right? So I believe God just impregnated me with a part of himself. If you meet God, the creator of the universe, genuinely one-on-one, it would cure you of the low self-esteem that most Africans have, especially if you are not born by a Dangote, Femi Otedola, or Adeleke, all the notable billionaires of our time. So I was from an average home. I just felt I was a nobody, born by a nobody and going nowhere until I met the God of the Bible, right? So that impacted me, genuinely impacted me. A statement that really also impacted me reading the Bible was, you are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. It was in red. The Bible I was reading then, it shows that this is Jesus talking. And it was, I believed it. I still believe it, you know. I believed it somehow. I was like, what? He didn't say light of Lagos. He said light of the earth. I said, are you saying this little boy in Festa Town?
Yeah.
I'm like, what does light, you know, there's a light in this studio. It brightens the room. I was like, wow. Then I salt. I said, salt is, these were it was like a revelation. And it has not left me till date. I said, what? Salt is needed in every nation of the earth. There's no chef that doesn't use salt, no matter what you're cooking. So I was like, there's something in me that every nation needs. And God said, yes, exactly. And that encounter with those two statements in Matthew 5 just killed. I was very chronically, in fact, I used to say it this way. I didn't have low self-esteem. I had no self-esteem. So the esteem was not even there until I encountered Jesus Christ genuinely. And that love that God has to send his only son to die for me, oh my God, then I must be worth saving. So and I wanted to now know, why did you save me?
The why behind saving.
Yes, he didn't save me to leave me in church, just to be a holy, good boy, and then live a long, boring life and make it back to heaven. That's not why. So we're not saved to be in church. We're saved to go do something in the world. We're saved to serve. We're saved to reveal God's glory. But many Christians are just trying to make it to heaven. We're supposed to bring heaven down on earth.
Come on, true.
You know, so through maybe how you create order in a room, or through shoemaking, through baking, through, you know, whatever you now touch, the influence of heaven on your mind. You don't tolerate mediocrity. I also read a book early in life, The Enemy Called Average.
John Mason.
Oh my God. The impact of reading those, you know, those self-development books by those men, and also Dr. Miles Monroe, Maximizing Your Potential, Keys to Dying Empty. Wow. I read those books, you know, and I had a near-death experience at 15. I was involved in an accident. I was left with a fracture. So meeting Jesus for me was not in a crusade, was not in a church. I met him because if I didn't meet him, I was going to die, or I would be left with a deformed body. So I experienced Jesus real time. He told me, give me your life, I'll give you back your legs. You know, and I was struggling with it. I was like, no, am I going to die? Well, give me the leg first, then I give you my life. So the experience was not stage managed. I was going to lose my leg. The doctors told me they would amputate my left leg.
Wow.
Yes. So that kind of encounter, I came back from the hospital and I was sure that, one, God loves me. Two, there's a purpose he has for my life. I have to find it, and then I have to walk in it.
Did you define, at that point, it as purpose? Or maybe you would say there's a reason or vision? Was it the word purpose that came to you?
That word, I think, to be honest, I think the word purpose, I heard it for the first time in that hospital in Igbobi. I think so. So when I came back home, I believe it's God that also arranged it that way. I saw the book, Maximizing Your Potential, and I saw that phrase, keys to dying empty. You know, I just survived. I almost died. So that keys to dying empty, I was like, what kind of paradox is this? Keys to dying empty. So I picked the book, I went to the back, and I just said, I'm going to buy this. Okay, I know where I found the book. Coming back from school, then in mile 2, you know, the people used to sell books in traffic and all of that.
Yeah.
So I saw that book, I just got interested, and I was like, wow. So I replaced some of my irresponsible friends with books. Because I now realize that now I'm born again, I can't keep rolling or hanging out with the same people whose mindsets were just not in alignment with my new value system. You know, and our time on earth, we are all equally given 24 hours. So as I started reading books, I saw that one of my greatest assets was time. And who I now invest the time with is shaping my mind. If you shake a person, you are not just shaking their hands, you are contacting their spirit, you are contacting their mindset. I had one useless friend at the age of 30. He almost wrecked my entire life. He was one that introduced me to pornography. Just one person, you know. So Dr. Mike Murdoch would say it this way, that if Satan wants to destroy you, all he has to do is introduce you to one wrong association. If God also wants to help you, so that if the right person enters your life, right things start happening. So he just told me, you know, back then we didn't have YouTube and all that. If you want to watch a movie in our days, you have to go to a video center, you know. And this guy, at times, some prayers that we pray, when it seems God has not answered it, he's actually protecting you from your current version that doesn't have enough self-mastery. So I used to say, God bless my parents with a video. There was no video, you know, that video player in the house. So eventually, somehow, there was a video player in the house, no video, no movies to watch. Then this boy came and said, this is blue film. I said, blue film. And blue is my favorite color. You know, you can see I'm even wearing blue. I said, blue film. I said, you mean it? He said, yes. I said, so the characters are wearing blue? He said, yes. And I slotted it in. Oh my God, what I saw is unprintable. And that just affected me, because I also have this very powerful graphical mind. If I see something, if I see you once in a crowd, I will recognize you no matter if it's 20 years after.
Because you still call me move.
Oh yes, yes. So that affected me until I met Christ 2 years after. So, but for that period of 2 years, that relationship was not doing me good. And so when I came back, I had to replace that particular boy with a book, and it was Dr. Miles Monroe's books. So that's why I said, if you are going to grow very fast, right, you must be very selective of the people, the books you read, and I think even the places you go to.
Let's go back to this book issue. You are a man shaped by books. In this, I used to tell some of my friends that I thank God I'm not from this generation, because I would probably be distracted. Like my life wouldn't have evolved as fast as it did, because I mean there are several distractions, right? And those days where we were reading those books, I was also reading those books too and all that. And I also find out that this generation, as much as we have all the tools and advancement, is also one of the most distracted generations. You were not distracted, because of course there were less distractions then. You didn't have the TikToks of this world and all that. What would you advise a young person watching this?
Well, first of all, I must be very honest. We didn't have this much distraction, but we still had our own fair share of distraction at that time, because every generation would have the Satan is the mastermind behind every generational defect, right? So he will look for something that's supposed to be an advantage in a generation and use it against that generation. Since there was no technology in our generation, he used what he could use at that time, right? Peer pressure has always been a real thing. He has been using that peer pressure to what your friends are doing. And at that time, as a young boy, what my friends were doing was now the thing that would be like a pressure gauge on my mind. So will you just stay at home when all your friends are on the street? That was a peer pressure slang. Why are you always at home? Why are you always inside? Come out now. So that was still the distraction. So you must note, if you're a young person, that distraction is the enemy of distinction. You will need time in solitude, enough time with yourself. So even though now the distraction now seems to be at your fingertips, you must create at least 1 hour of me time, 1 hour of self-reflection. Jesus told, I'm a Christian unapologetically so. Jesus asked Peter a simple question. Peter and his inner circle, there were 3 disciples that were in Jesus' inner circle. He said, you guys can't keep watch with me for just 1 hour. So there are 24 hours in a day. Let's do something called the life maths. For those watching, take a pen. Let me just give you a free coaching session. Take a pen. If it was guaranteed that every human being will live for 100 years, that means you are guaranteed 876,000 hours. So your life is measured in hours. So your unit of life is time, right? So if you sleep 8 hours a day and you live up to 75 years, you have slept for 25 years of your life. So subtract that 25 from 100, you have 75 left. So if you are always playing with this phone, not doing anything that is productive for just 4 hours, and you live up to 75 years, you would have been on your phone for about 12 years. So add that 12 to the years you sleep. And doctors tell people that they must sleep 8 hours. I stopped sleeping 8 hours over 26 years ago.
How many hours do you sleep for?
Maybe 4.
Till now?
Yes.
Why?
At times 3. Because I'm going to be sleeping longer than I'm living. The day I die, you'll be in the grave a long time before.
Well, people would say, this is, our program author was not here. This.
I would need to even tell him to come and prove it to me. Jesus didn't sleep 8 hours. I can prove that. He didn't sleep 8 hours when he was on the earth. He lived 33 hours. His impact, we have not recovered from it. When men of impact talk, doctors should come and learn, right? If you contact the spirit of your purpose, truly your genuine purpose, you will know that you are in a race against time. You are in a race against your potential as well. You want to be better than you currently are by next week. This version of me must expire by the end of today. I must keep evolving. I must keep evolving. I told you I've written over 20-something books. In fact, I've written over 40 books. I've just published a certain number because there's a season to churn out all those. Yes. I don't want to release books that will gather dust. I want to release books as I make this brand stronger, because people don't buy books, they buy the author. So once this brand gets to a global dimension of influence, I will bring out all those books. So that there was a ready market to consume them. That I didn't write this book today. I wrote it 20 years ago, and then I've been living out the principles. So there's a book I wrote called Finding Your Career Path. There's nobody that reads that book, a young person, that won't locate the real path, no matter what you studied in school. Because a lot of us, is school that misdirected us. I want to do what Kenni is doing. Why? Kenni and I have been friends from nursery 1.
School misdirected us.
Yes.
Sorry, we have to hold that thought. We'll go on a short break. When we come out from the break, the conversation continues. Don't sleep. Stay with us and don't be distracted. Like Noah said, we'll be right back.
What does success mean to you? To a singer, success is about selling out a concert and having hit songs. To a filmmaker, success is about fans raving about his or her blockbuster movie. To an entrepreneur, success is about converting prospects into lifelong customers. For us at Visibility Solutions Media, our success is when we help you successfully tell your story and win in the marketplace. We produce videos that matter, media campaigns that sell, content that puts your brand in the spotlight. In short, we are the one your brand needs today and forever. Visit us at vsmpr.com or call 0805 468 0266.
Welcome back from the break. This is the Conversations with Kenni. I see I have the phenomenal Mr. Purpose, Noah Afeoluwape. Before we went on the break, you said something about the school system misguiding people. What do you mean by that?
Wow. Well, the assignment I received was to complement the not traditional school system. When I was in school, I discovered that a lot of a lot of the questions I had were not answered.
What were the questions?
Things like, I didn't understand who I am or who I was. There was no subject teaching that. Leadership is one of the life skills everybody needs to have, entrepreneurship, right? So in a response to that, we had to create a curriculum that now helps young people. So we have an academy called the Purpose Discovery Academy. There are 12 courses. Discovering you, discovering your personality makeup, discovering your gift, learning to lead. So there are courses like discovering your purpose. So we teach things that are not taught in regular school. Talent to business. How do you turn your talent to business? You know, so and over the years, we've taught that to over 40,000 young people.
Oh, wow.
And we've seen the same quality of results in those that go through our curriculum. They come in identity crisis. They're not very self-aware. They come out and there's this, like a bright light shines in them. You know, so that curriculum, one of my desires is that one day self-discovery will be taught across secondary schools, across Nigeria, Africa, and leadership, and also some of those things that we teach in a very structured way. So that from GSS 1, a child comes in, by the time the child is in GSS 3, the child should know that, okay, I should not even further into SS1 because the school system does not have a continuation in that regard. Not everybody should go to university, actually.
Really?
Yes. Not every child should go to university. Instead, they should go into a special program that will now educate them in the area of their talent. Some children should go from GSS 3 to a textile school. Some should go to a photography school. So because we need, the best time to plant a tree is 25 years ago. The second best time is now. So because we find a lot of graduates that are now more confused. They apply for jobs that they are not fit for. There's something called underemployment. When you employ somebody and the job they're doing is far below the potential they have.
Let me take you on that. The founder of Money Point, I don't know if you saw the video. And you are alluding to that in a way. What would you say about the Nigerian young Nigerians as regards not being unemployable? Do you think it's as a result of the Nigerian factor, or do you think it's personal?
Okay, well, I don't like to make blanket statements like that. He hasn't interacted with all Nigerian youths. He has just interacted with some that applied to his company. So I think what he should have said is the young Nigerians that applied to his company, maybe most, it can't also be all of them, because I'm sure he has some people working for him. So at times, so that's also the error that comes when you have not been trained to speak. Public speaking is an art. There's a way you don't say something. You can't make a general statement. Just like when an ex-president said lazy Nigerian youths, and we jumped on that, So most of the young people today, they have a different mindset, the Gen Zs, right? They don't have a tough mental frame. That's why we have a rise in, my mental health is affected.
Don't have a tough mental
frame, yes. Because of the advent of technology.
Do you think that's responsible for them not having tough mental
well, it's a personal decision that most of them have. It's also a generational malady. It's a problem. So for you to find an exceptional young person now, that person has been exposed to mentoring. That person has been exposed to a different curriculum, a different diet. You can become muscular lifting pillows, right? You can't build strong muscles.
I want you to say that thought, what you said about a different diet. It just resonated with me. It says for you to be exceptional, maybe you need to take a different diet. I don't know how you crafted.
Oh yes. When I say different diet, I'm talking about the materials you're exposed to. Wisdom is not intelligence. This generation is very intelligent, but they are not very wise.
Wisdom is not intelligence.
Yes. Wisdom is not intelligence. They don't have access. Because I have a coaching program for young people, this age, between if you are 15 to 25, I mentor them for 12 months. It's a paid mentoring platform. Yeah, before I used to do it free, but now people don't pay attention to what they don't pay for.
Yes.
So interacting with them, you see that a lot of them the error is even from home. Parents don't have time to really teach their children the values of life, the sustainable values of life, because they also are just looking for the bread. They're looking for the money. Parents think that all their job is to pay the rent. So a lot of them are not with we're not with these children to show them what the Bible calls the ancient paths. The ancient paths. So if you're a young person here, you need to ask questions like, who am I? Why was I born? Right? How can I make a difference? What did God equip me with to make that difference? What annoys me? What inspires me? If money was not a problem on this earth, what will I be doing? If they cancel school, let's imagine that a law comes out and that school has been banned all over the earth. What will you be doing with your time? Because some people are saying it's school that has made them like this. Some are saying because they couldn't go to school. No. So let's remove school. Let's remove money. If money, because when God created the earth, there was no money in Garden of Eden.
Yes.
In Abraham's time, it was men began to exchange value. So purpose will reveal your own core value to you. The major thing the value that you carry as a person. Some people thrive beside water. Nobody taught them how to swim. They have an inbuilt understanding of the waterways. If you see some children, they can climb trees. That's bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Some people are gifted naturally to understand words. They are linguistic intelligence. If you expose them to Spanish language, their brain and their mind is wired by God. So we understand cameras and all of that. I had one young chap. He worked for us for a few months. And he had low self-esteem. I said, what's your problem? He said he's not been able to pass JAM. He had done it twice. But guess what? Our gen in the office had an issue. Without anybody teaching him what to do, he pieces the gen, coupled it back together, and the gen started working. I said, you're the most intelligent engineer I've seen that didn't go. So we had to refocus his energy. And we got him a mentor. That guy is a fantastic mechanic today. I said, your own university should be done in a mechanic workshop. And
that thing you said about people not attending university, it's very strong and also very controversial, because some people will be like, but it's a very strong statement, because I think I read a book years back where I think they said in Asia that whenever they want to understand the career path of a young person, what they will do, they just bring those young people, children, they'll put them in a room containing different toys of, representing different vocations, engineering, music, different vocations, medicine, and whatever that resonates with that child.
They see what the child gravitates
towards. That's what they'll pick.
Yeah.
And I feel like that should be the pursuit of anybody. You shouldn't, because like you said, school confuses people. Let's come back to school. Let's come back to JAM. Recently, I always make reference to our own time. Our time was like the bar then. I think JAM reduced their cutoff mark, 150. I don't know if you heard.
And I wonder why they are doing that. In fact,
yes.
the policy makers, if you're a policymaker watching this video, I want to appeal to you that you are destroying the spine of an entire generation. Why did Usain Bolt break the world record that he met? He was challenged by the statement of, I can't remember the name of the other athlete. The guy said he was going to beat him. He saw the video and he was just saying, wow. So if you're dropping the bar, the motivation will be low.
Exactly.
So Usain Bolt went back to the gym and began to exercise. Like, what? I'm the best. He was provoked. So you're making it easier for them to get into university where the curriculum is already very warped. So that means we're churning out more problematic people. Do you understand? So I make it. So I want to appeal to the policymakers. When I saw that, I just said, I pity this generation. You can't. There's something I say to young people. I say, see, An aeroplane that will take off cannot avoid the runway. If the aeroplane does not get on the runway, you just want to take off from a spot. You need momentum. You need something that will challenge your potential. We have a local dish for those who might be watching this abroad. We have a local dish in Nigeria called eba. That's cassava flour. You can't turn that flour into what we call eba, the solidified form, with cold water. You need heat. Water that has boiled to hot. Then you mix it, then you stir it. They're not allowing these young people stir their potential correctly. Reducing the cutoff mark to make it easier for them is cheating them of a basic requirement for success, which is hunger. Their hunger is being removed. So somebody scores 199 jam, says he passed. I said, you are being deceived.
199.
You are being deceived.
199 is failure.
Yes, in our time.
It's failure.
You even scored 240 at times in jam, you still don't make it in. So the policymakers today, we need to sit with them. Let's revisit the ancient landmarks. As a nation, we don't have what we call a national value system. What's the national value system of Nigeria? I ask those in the policy making arm. The Minister of Education, what should be the average dream of a Nigerian boy or girl in secondary school? So if what you think you are helping the generation, you are destroying their hunger level, and hunger is a necessity for success. Fantastic
session. We're going to have you back. This time is too short for us to have a wholesome interview, but I want to appreciate you for coming on the show.
Thank you,
Mr. Purpose. We wish you the best with the Purpose Academy, with your books, with every of your endeavors. Thank you for coming. Now, that's been the show today. Thank you for joining us on today's edition of Conversations with Kenni. Like I always say, conversations don't just reveal the truth. Conversations shapes culture. Thank you for joining us. God bless you.